It's important that you get your girls at the bottom. You don't want your girls on top. And when I say girls, I mean queens. Um, there's a guy on the internet, I can't think of his name right now, but he says queens will eventually work their way down. With Russian bees, that's not true. I had Italian bees for 4 years before I got involved with Russian bees. And I noticed after I got these Russian bees, or queens from Foley's Russian bees, the few that did survive through one winter because they weren't resistant to mites, the ones that survived and produced colonies, the queens would go up to the top in the medium. And it makes sense. That's where the honey is. They eat the honey during the winter, and that's where the queen's going to lay, right where they've ate all the honey. But I was following this information off the internet, and I can't think of his name right now. If I think of it, I'll put it into text. But he said they'll work their way down. So last summer, I waited and waited and waited, and the queen never went down, and it restricted her egg laying. It ended up being a slow colony. So if you have a queen up in the medium, there's 3 ways to get her down. See, this is the queen excluder. The queen is down here. She can't go up there now in the medium. And here's another one. And here is, this queen was up. Majority of my queens are up in the mediums, and it's driving me nuts. This one here, this is another method. The queen had been laying here, and I gave them another deep several days ago, and there was a bunch of eggs up here in the medium. So I went ahead and I took that medium away from her, and I gave them a medium with honey. So there's no place for her to lay up here after I made sure I put the queen down here. She needs to go down instead of going up, because she's been laying here. This is all full of brood. Instead of going down here, she went up because they ate the honey and there was empty cells, but she didn't know enough to go down. So that's another way you can handle it. Put the frames of honey so she can't go up anymore. And this is another way. Do a reversal, and eventually she'll fill this up, and she'll have to go up to the deep, which is above the medium, which is the opposite what I normally like to do. She'll have to go up here eventually because when she fills this up. And then after she gets laying up here, your goal is to switch this around. I don't know how long that's going to take. I only have 3 clean excluders. It's really frustrating. You got to work really hard when you have Russian bees to get them to do the things you want them to do. And I've taken those eggs away from colony 25, those medium eggs, and I've given one to number 4, 1 frame of eggs and 1 frame of brood. Or wait a minute, 1 frame of eggs, 1 frame of nurse bees. There's no brood on those frames. And you want to make sure you don't have more bees than the original colony has so that they can't go down and kill that queen. So I've made these colonies large enough to handle the cold weather that's coming. They say April's going to now get cold, colder than normal. So I took 1 frame of eggs and 1 frame of nurse bees, gave it to 4. I took 1, gave it to 51. 1 frame of eggs, 1 frame of nurse bees, and did the same to 62. And by then I ran out of frames of eggs, but I still had some nurse bees on some frames of honey on a medium, and I gave it to 4. So anyway, I've gotten to the point now where all my outside colonies have a medium with honey in it, and all I have left now is 6 windows, 6 colonies in the window that don't have a medium. So it's April 5th, and a couple more weeks we'll see how these are doing. And my goal is to do some splits by the end of April with larger colonies. I have maybe 6 colonies right now that I could split right now, but it's too early. So, okay, thank you.